Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Divorced Women's Guide podcast. How are you today? I hope you guys are having a really great day wherever it is that you are. I am coming to you guys today and sharing part 2 of my What I Learned from Betrayal series. If you did not catch the last solo episode, I highly recommend that you listen to that as well. These are all being combined. I'm just breaking them up into smaller pieces for you guys to be able to digest and to be able to reflect upon them. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I feel like there is a lot of richness in the lessons that I've learned. And it's meant to get you guys thinking. It's meant to bring you guys to a place where you are reframing what betrayal means to each of you. And in the prior episode, I shared 2 learnings. And today I'm going to share another 2. I may go to 3. I want to just kind of see how this episode plays out for you guys. So in today's episode, I want to start with a learning that was super duper hard for me. Super hard because I don't know about you guys, but I tend to be an A-type personality. I am a controlling analyzer. I like to control things. And one of the things that not only my divorce taught me, but that my betrayal also taught me is that I cannot change other people. I am unable to change anybody else in my life. I really believe that I can because I'm Wonder Woman. I'm Wonder Woman Wendy. Of course I can change people. At least I believed that for the first 40 years of my life. And lo and behold, it took my divorce and feeling betrayed to learn that all the love in the world was not enough to change him. I'm going to say that again. All the love in the world was not enough to change him. And I'm sure many of you have been through the thought process of that, oh my God, I am going to save this person. I am going to transform them into the person that they get to be, what I see as possible for them. My love is that powerful. How many of you said that? How many of you believed that? Maybe you still believe that. Well, I'm about to drop a bomb, a truth bomb, so to speak, on you guys. And that is that it is impossible. You cannot save or transform people into becoming what you want. Why? Because people can't change unless they want to. I'm going to say that in a slightly different way. People cannot change people unless those people choose to change. Only that person can make changes. And for the changes to take effect, there has to be awareness and there has to be a desire to change. That need gets to be there. It has to be there. It's crucial. And part of that also means that I had to accept that I will probably never know why he acted the way he did. And I'm okay with that. You see, we don't need to know the answers to everything. I firmly believed that answers would make the pain go away. How many of you thought that too? And I'm here to tell you that sometimes things just are, and that knowledge is not always power. Answers are not always power. To me, they mean more pain. And what that taught me was something really valuable. And this is something you're going to want to write down. You're going to want to go back and write this down. Sometimes the person you want the most is the person that you are your best without. Just because some things are meant to happen does not mean that they're meant to be. And just because people come into your life, it doesn't mean that they're meant to stay. I believe firmly, wholeheartedly, that people come in and out of our lives for a reason. They are meant to stay as long as they are intended to, meaning when their job is done, when the lesson has been learned, it is time for them to walk away. You see, my job wasn't to fix what was meant to be broken. And I also learned that if you feel the need to change somebody, then that person isn't the right person for you. A conscious and equal partnership is rooted in acceptance of one another. That doesn't mean you have to be the same person. It doesn't mean that you have to be something that you're not, or that you have to change someone to be what you want them to be with you. So I'm begging you, stop wasting your valuable time trying to change somebody, because all you're doing is fighting an uphill battle. You are swimming upstream. How much energy is that taking out of your life? How much energy are you expelling to somebody who is not receiving it, who never will? Choose your battles. The second thing that betrayal taught me, that I learned, was that it was time to stop telling stories the way that I had, and instead, I got to change them. And the way in which I was able to do that is that I had to stop seeking others to complete them, to complete the story. In other words, what I once fought to get from other people, especially my ex-husband, things like happiness, respect, fulfillment, validation, love, what I liked to eat. I sought to see that through him. I sought it out, and I expected them to give it to me. And what betrayal taught me is that other people don't get to be responsible for my happiness. That is my job. That is up to me. And the sooner that I recognize that, the sooner that I recognize that when I am whole, when I show up for my life, when I take responsibility for creating what I want, for what I feel, that I then was going to be able to attract somebody who was vibrating at the same frequency. You know, we live in a reflective reality, guys. So in order for us to attract our ideal partner, the friends in the life that we want, we first get to be all of what it is that we seek. And part of that was also learning to trust myself before trusting someone else again, especially a partner. Let me say it again. I learned that before I could trust another person or another partner again, I needed to learn to trust myself first. So what else did that mean? It meant that before I was going to be able to open my heart again, I needed to first love myself. You know, we grow up seeing all these fairy tale movies, the princess being rescued by the prince. And thank goodness we're seeing a lot more heroines of women in the fairy tale movies that we're watching. But my point with this is I'm inviting you all to let that stay in fairy tale land, because it is a false romantic illusion of what happens in reality. Why? Because I don't believe that people come into our lives to complete us, to make us whole, to make us feel loved, or to make us feel validated. You know, it's that line, you guys, I'm sure most of you have seen Jerry Maguire, where, you know, Tom Cruise, where Jerry tells, you know, Renee Zellweger's character, "You complete me." In the movie, you know, we all kind of like had a tear, right, come down, but let's think about that. Saying that you complete me means that you're not whole without somebody else. And the truth is that even in the absence of another person or a relationship, you actually are whole. That's the place you get to come back to. Why? Because I believe that we are all born whole. We are all born loved, and we are all born complete, exactly as was intended for us. And I learned the hard way that I could not demand someone else to fill my empty cup, to fill needs that I didn't know how to meet for myself. And so responsibility starts and ends with this person right here, the person you look at every day in the mirror, you. We are all here on our own journeys. And just because we have a partner doesn't mean that we give up or that we sacrifice. It means that we choose to walk our separate journeys together. Nobody can make you feel anything more than what you already feel for yourself, you guys. I've learned that the hard way, as I know many of you have too. You don't get to wait to be in a romantic relationship to feel in love. You don't have to wait for someone to start enjoying your life. You get to do that starting today. And in order to attract and manifest the life and the person that you want to share your life with, you and you alone get to feel those things for yourself. Because what I know to be true is that when I present myself as whole, as complete, as joyful, I attract the right partner because I'm attracting someone else who knows that they are responsible for their own happiness. I attract someone who's brave enough to also come with an open heart, to be committed, who knows his worth and desires to share their life with me. What is coming up for you guys? Because what I know to be true is that people can only love you to the capacity that they have to love themselves. People can only love you as much as they have love for themselves. And oftentimes that means that how a person treats you has nothing to do with you. So learn, you guys, learn to have empathy for those people who feel the need to cheat, lie, and betray. Because guess what? They're the ones who are incapable of experiencing real love. To experience true, real love, pure love, you have to love without attachment, without needing it. Let that sit with you for a second, you guys. Nobody belongs to you. Only you belong to yourself. So I had said in the previous episode, part one of this, that I believe that people come in and out of our lives for a reason and for however long they're intended to. Because I believe that people will stay and be with me for however long they are meant to, based on what our soul contracts are. So as long as our, frequencies are at the same level, regardless of the detours or challenges that come our way, they'll either stay or they'll go. And if they go, they weren't meant to be with me as I'm in that place where I'm vibrating, where I am creating frequency. I know that the right person is going to love me, who's going to want to give and shower me with love without me having to ask for it. And I trust the universe to open and close all the doors that are meant to be opened and closed. That means, and I say this all the time, things happen for us. Things happen for us in order to prepare us for what's next, for what our next life gets to look like. And I can tell you that in my case, the universe had a much better idea, had a much bigger plan for me. I wouldn't be doing the job I'm doing today. I wouldn't be serving the people that I serve today. I wouldn't be creating the impact in the world. I wouldn't love my life. I wouldn't love myself had the betrayal not happened. What would have happened is I would have stayed stuck in a life that wasn't serving me. So today, okay, with this episode, I'm trying to teach you what I learned, and that is to not let betrayal define you and how it is that you're going to love or trust again. In other words, stop living in the narrative of I was betrayed. It is a small chapter of your life. I don't care how old you are. It is one chapter. And it doesn't get to be all that you are and all that you are capable of becoming. Love gets to re-enter your life, sometimes in the most unusual and beautiful places. And the best things in life come when we least expect them. So I invite you to stay in the flow, because the flow gets to be easy. Stop swimming upstream, stay positive, stay open. Because what I know to be true is that no one can betray you without you first betraying yourself. That is a fact. When you bring yourself down to somebody else's lower vibration, you are leaving yourself unprotected. Had I not lowered myself, had I stayed at the higher vibrational state, or even allowed myself to embark on elevating my vibrational state, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have learned everything. And it also taught me that risking my values to be with someone meant that I betrayed myself. That, everybody listening, is how I betrayed myself. I betrayed myself by not honoring my values. So any relationship that requires you to change yourself, to change your values, to compromise any part of you is not a conscious, loving relationship. I teach others how I want to be treated. So every time I felt pain, I felt hurt, I felt betrayal, I felt a lack of love, that was a reflection of what was missing inside of me. And no matter how hard I tried, it couldn't be avoided, and it being betrayal. And I can tell you all that when you show up whole, when you do the work, okay, not listening to webinars that tell you the what and the why, but you actually invest in the how. You learn how to show up, how to become complete. You do the work. You learn who you are. You learn your own worth. You learn what there is to love about you. When you do that, you are less likely to attract somebody who is going to betray you. If you betrayed yourself, you're going to attract someone who's going to do the same. People come into our life and reflect what is already inside of us. So I invite you all to stop attracting or going back to that lower frequency, because all you're doing is saying, I'm open for betrayal. It is time for you to start elevating your state of being. Because what I know to be true is that when you elevate your energy, when you elevate your frequency, when you command vibrations at a higher frequency, those frequencies being gratitude, acceptance, forgiveness, self-love, self-trust, confidence, guess what happens, you guys? You become a magnet for amazingness. Yes, it is possible. Because what I can tell you is that after experiencing the most excruciating gut punch, and I gave birth to 2 children, this was worse. Even after that, my heart today is invincible. It is adaptable. Why? Because I learned that my heart had to break in order for it to heal, for it to grow to the capacity that it was meant to. Because, the way I describe it is that when I had my first son, I was like, oh my God, I don't know how I could love another child. How do you make room for another child, right? How do you open your heart to another child when your love for your one is just so huge? And then I had a second child, my second son. And I remember speaking to a girlfriend, and the way that she described it was so beautiful. She said that what ends up happening when you have your second is that your heart cracks open to make room so that it stretches to open itself up to the abundance that gets to come in with your second. It expands for a reason. It stretches. That's how we become healed. Our heart is adaptable, even with the cracks and bruises, because our hearts get to grow, they get to regenerate. And that's where the healing happens. So that is the part 2 for you guys around how it is that I came to find the lessons in betrayal, what it is that I learned. I would love to hear your feedback. You know that I always love to hear what came up for you. There is a lot to reflect upon, I know. And you are welcome to share that wisdom with me, wendy@wendysterling.net. Please send me your thoughts. I would love to hear it. If you think that this podcast episode would benefit somebody that you know, please, I'm begging you guys, share it, let them hear it. You don't have to necessarily be going through a divorce. We feel betrayal in so many different areas of our life. You never know who this could help. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's part 2 episode. I hope that it helped you wherever it is that you are. I hope that you got something out of this. Sending you all tons of love, light, and joy as always. Mwah. And I will see you guys in the next episode.